All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. It is another checking in with JLova. Guys, today is all about the business of comedy, right? Entertainment in Trinidad. And of course, in the Caribbean, I have two special guests with me. One is a guy named Keevo. I'm sure you guys know him for those hilarious videos that he does in his car. But he does so much more. So we're going to find out. And then later on, we're going to talk to Kess Ramsey. He's the good guy of comedy. All right. So I'm going to bring on Keevo in a little while, guys. I hope that you are ready because this guy, I love his vibe. Okay. All right, I'm going to bring him on, guys. I'm using a new program today. Keevo, how are you?
Hey, what's up?
I'm good. I'm good. Listen, thank you so much for being on the show. I just want to make sure that, guys, that there's no static happening. I'm going to actually add Keevo to this. I'm adding you to the stream. Hello.
Okay, great.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good, Keevo. I'm just testing out this new system, as you can see. So it's a lot of like kinks, but progress is key. One of the things I definitely want to talk to you about, and I'm going to let you introduce yourself, is about your progress. So I'm going to ask you to just look straight on to camera and just introduce yourself and let everybody know who you are and what you do.
What camera? The IG?
Look straight to your computer.
Oh, my computer. Okay, great.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So good evening, everyone. My name is Keevan Lewis. That's my government name, also known as Keevo. I basically started my comedic journey when I was part of an underground poetry club. So they would do their serious poetry, etc. But I didn't have that kind of depth. I was really good at telling jokes, and I decided to, in essence, create some comedic poetry, and it hit off. It hit off, and people enjoyed it, and they always requested me because I was something different. Everybody was serious, snapping fingers, and they basically enjoyed the fact that I had something light and also topical as well. So that's where it started, probably 9 years ago, with a group called One Mic.
Right. Since then to now, you have become a household name in terms of someone that people can count on for comedic relief, someone who has insight into what's happening. And one of the things that I love about you is that hilarious laugh. Your laugh is totally funny, right? Talk to me a little bit about your progression.
Well, one of the things I was focused on in terms of getting into comedy was to maintain a certain brand. And I grew up, I wouldn't say I was a strict household, but my mother and my father, they had different standards in terms of speaking well and etc. and representing yourself in a certain way. And because of that, if I now go into the comedic world and knowing the people that I follow, it would be difficult for me to try to be somebody else. I didn't grow up using vulgar language all the time, etc. So in essence, I wanted a brand that can be a household name, not only in the bedroom of my peers, but in the bedroom of the mother, the younger son, the uncle, etc. Everybody can relate to what I'm saying because there's no vulgarity, there's no obscenity in the brand. So I started doing stand-up comedy actually. And then somebody told me, listen, YouTube is where it's at right now. People mightn't see you in the underground comedy clubs, etc. So try doing some YouTube blogs. And from YouTube, I spent probably 2 years on YouTube, and I realized their attention span is very short. So Instagram came in at a good time in 2014, I think. And 15-second videos were doing well. And I switched across to Instagram, and thankfully Instagram lengthened their videos. And that's where it really kicked off. I always remember a lot of my friends were saying that people were taking my videos and posting it, but nobody knew who I was. So It's important to tag myself in the video. And I had a good friend, Janine. Janine kept telling me, Keevan, please tag yourself in the video. And I put my handle in the video itself. And the first day I did that was the first time Kess actually reposted my video. And from that time, when Kess reposted my video, I probably was at 3,000 followers in January, and by the end of February, I had 10,000 followers just from posting that one video and getting it reposted to people knowing exactly who was doing the remix to Kess's Hello. So that's my progress in a sense. Yeah.
Your comedy skits are, I mean, really hilarious because you can tell that it's just really being you. But I really want to talk about the laugh. The laugh is hilarious. Is
Uh,
that like, I mean, is that like your natural laugh? What have people told you in your past about that laugh? Because it's really
yeah,
hilarious.
people people always talk about the laugh, but that laugh comes from straight from the gut. Um,
Right.
I always tell people I don't think that a comedian is ever funny if he doesn't laugh at himself,
Right.
right? So when I say those things, I'm laughing at the fact that Keevo, that was a actually funny joke. So I'm
Right.
not exaggerating. I'm not being extra. It's the fact that what I just said was actually funny, and
Right.
that's my laugh, my signature laugh. You will know it when you enter a room. You will know, hey, that's Keevo in the corner there. So that's what I'm
I
known for.
noticed, well, I mean, definitely it's something that I enjoy in all your sessions. Like, I look forward to hearing the scandalous laugh, like,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
right? Was this something that you always wanted to do in terms of the magnitude of what you're doing right now? When I say magnitude, I want you to also talk about some of the other projects that you're working on, because I know before in your bio you had comedian, not clown.
Right.
And a lot of people who see entertainers almost in a puppetry type of way and don't
Right.
necessarily understand that it is a craft. you
Yeah.
know so
Hmm.
can you
Well,
talk to me a little bit about that?
yes, comedian and clown is very dear to my heart because I do not see myself as someone who is going to do anything to make somebody laugh. All right. I believe that a comedian is just like a spoken word artist. It's just a different way in which they send forward a message. And I looked at Steve Harvey sometime back, and Steve Harvey said that as a comedian, when you tell a joke, you have a power that not much people have. The fact that you're telling a joke, people are extremely quiet because they want to
Right.
follow the trend of the joke. When somebody is singing, they go into the melody, they might hear the lyrics, etc. But with a comedian, they want to hear the progress of the joke so that they can hear the punchline and laugh. They don't want to be
Right.
left out. All right. So
Right.
when you're a comedian, you have that kind of power. You now
It's in
have
the
a platform,
delivery.
yeah, to in essence enact change and make people think about different concepts, etc. Because now people are always attentive. That's why it's so quiet in a comedy club until the joke
Mhm.
occurs. So
Right.
I always thought to myself that if I am going to use this comedic platform, it's really for me to take my platform to that level where people listen to me not only for the joke but for something that's thought provoking at the same time. So, in essence, my comedy is not to be the next Kevin Hart and toe and make people laugh, but make people think. And my mantra is to make people the best version of themselves. So
You
that's my
know,
focus.
Let me ask a question, because I feel like you have been evolving into the best version of yourself. But what do people need to understand right now in a time like this, when we are facing a world, pandemic, and everybody is so anxious and just feeling uneasy? What would you like to say to people?
In terms of, I didn't hear you clearly in the first part.
Sorry. Okay, so
Yeah,
in terms of right now, people are going through so much, mentally, emotionally, in terms of what's next.
yeah.
What can you offer people in terms of advice, or just some type
Hmm.
of you know
Advice. Um,
yes.
for me, I read a book called Stillness Speaks, and
Mm,
it allows you to understand the importance of getting clarity through not moving. If you look at a lake that's always churning and has a lot of activity, it's murky. But when it becomes still, you can actually see the bottom of the lake, or see the depth of the lake. So that's what, for me, COVID is. COVID, in essence, is us being allowed to be still and understand
yes.
what's important, pull out the things that are not
Yeah.
important, and focus on inward growth as opposed to the
Yeah.
outward hustle and bustle of life. So my advice mainly is to allow this moment to not be frustration that we can't go out, but appreciation that we could now go in. All right. And
Absolutely. I
in
mean,
meaning,
I understand that.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, in meaning a deeper understanding of ourselves. I'm not saying to meditate and go on a mountain, etc., but understanding what's more important. And
Right.
I think that allows us now to find new ideas, find innovations, find ways in which we can now create, now offer something different, and move forward with a different type of plan.
Yeah, I absolutely feel that. I actually live in the US, but I do a lot of traveling. And when I decided to come to Trinidad, one of the things that I was just like, what do I do? And I just felt like the scripture was be still and know that I am God, and just
Yes,
kind of
yes.
flowing in who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great. So let's flow into this next question. So one of the things that I definitely love to ask my guests is about manifestation. Right. So what is something that you know for a fact that you have manifested? It's something that you wanted, you thought about it, you acted in accordance, and it happened.
Oh, that's simple. I always knew that I wanted to align my brand with other brand names, right? So I put myself out there as an available brand that other brands can attach to. So I have on a piece of paper I wrote down work with corporate entities, right, in the next 2 years, and I named a few corporate entities. So I named places like courts, different types of companies, etc. And I also, in essence, acted out the type of person that the brand would want to align themselves with. So if you look at a lot of my posts, you would see me wearing suits all the time when I do my weddings, right? So I would buy a new suit and invest in different types of fashion, and I knew I wanted to align myself with a company that could say, "Hey, Keevo, I want you to wear this suit because I see you're a guy who wear good suits and always available to wear suits." And I eventually got a contract for a year that allowed me to wear suits for free for one whole year. So that is definitely something that manifested. Working with corporate entities, I was really
Yeah.
happy about that. Yeah.
You also have been, working in the whole Fed industry with your Pump is
Uh-huh.
Life project. Tell me a little bit
Right.
about that.
Pump is Life is a brainchild of myself and my good friend Kun Batiste. We decided to come up with an event company that did two things at the same time. We offered the FET experience, but we also offered the experience where we wanted people to master adulting. Because as much as we FET and enjoy ourselves, I think the millennial and the average adult may not have all the answers to
Right.
be a full-fledged adult. So we offer not only parties, we offer business conferences in terms of regular adulting advice, or if you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to go into real estate, etc. So we offer two different things at the same time. So you could FET in May with a regular boat ride. In October, you will have a business conference to allow you to understand how to build your business, or even just be a good employee that has investments. So that's what Pump was about. It started 3 years ago, actually.
Now as we are in the midst of a carnival shutdown,
Mhm.
what is your company and what is your brand doing to pivot in a time like this?
Well, one of the things that we always emphasize in terms of, well, Pump for sure, we want to remain relevant, right? So we try to ensure that we are still online and still have an online presence, a lot of different activities, and making sure we can work with companies who have that leverage to, one, work with us and we work with them. So we have been, one, doing some charitable stuff as well, and also making sure we're online and people seeing our faces, so that when this pandemic is over, they now know that Pump is still a brand that's alive and well.
Yeah, and that's really smart and valuable. I want to ask you a question about philanthropic work. There were some comments made a few weeks ago about whether, about the fact that we as a people applaud our
Mm-hmm.
soca artists and our entertainers, and what are they doing for the population in a time of need. And so the
Uh,
questions were, was basically raised. As someone who is in the public domain, are you more obligated to post your philanthropic efforts, or don't you even care?
no,
What you do is what you do.
I honestly don't care about that. That philanthropic thing is really a personal relationship with you and the other person, right? And the person that you give to. If it is that it so happens to be something that grand, people have no choice but, in a sense, to take photos of what is being done. But me and the person I'm giving to, it's a personal relationship and it does not need to be publicized. The reason why we do blogs and advertising for events is because we have to publicize it in order to get people to come, right? But we don't need to publicize charity, because at the end of the day, you should be charitable wherever you are, right?
Correct.
The most we can do is inspire you and say, listen, I want you to give. If you have extra food, please do. But I don't need to take a selfie with me giving somebody a box of food. I know that I did it. And at the end of the day, it's all about the universe rewarding me for what I did, right? I don't need that kind of reward, honestly, for me doing something philanthropic and posting it online. If I do it, fine. But then people are going to say, well, why you need to post up this philanthropic stuff? Why have to show off? Okay, and I don't do it. Why not doing it? You really can't win.
Right.
So
Damn if you
just
damn
do it. Yeah, just do it. At the end of the day, just do it.
You know, I am a big lover of soca, and I know that you are as well too. You know, soca is life. Right now, I think a lot of soca artists are pivoting into different directions and giving us more of an insight into who they are and what they have been doing during quarantine time. But then there still begs the question of the business of soca and the business of carnival, and sometimes they become one and the same, but it's really not. It's two separate things happening now, as there may foreseeably not be any carnivals for the next, you know, let's say 12 months realistically, or quite possibly. Where does that leave soca music?
It does not leave the music in a bad place, to be honest, because at the end of the day, music can be enjoyed anywhere, right? It does definitely affect events. It does affect probably the pocket of the soca artist. But I think we now have the opportunity to find a creative way to let our music move into different areas or different parts of the world that people may not have thought of, right? So because we know we have that chain of from Guyana all the way to London, we probably could now offer ourselves further east. And I'm not sure if, well, I know people in Australia enjoy soca music, but having the opportunity to now see, having the opportunity to now see soca as a unit, and people appreciate soca on a global level. Because I still think people who have Caribbean roots or have Caribbean friends appreciate soca. But I would like to see soca at a point where it's now at a level where, you know, Grammys, etc., where we understand that this is now a genre that is worldwide, you know?
You know, about 6 months ago, Bunji Garlin made a statement, and he talked about the number of people in the Caribbean, X amount of million people, inclusive of the number of people in the diaspora, X amount of million people, and how every single Caribbean person and Caribbean diaspora person can, in fact, make a soca artist go platinum.
Yeah.
Right? What do you say to something like that when dongos are as cheap as 99 cents right now, right? You know, a million people purchasing can make Kess go platinum, can make him be seen on the global stage, or even increase our metrics. What's your take on that?
Well, we definitely can do that, but I'm not sure if our culture is a purchase music culture. I'm not sure if we are inclined to download and purchase music from our soca artists. I don't know if we feel as though, well, listen, this is on our airwaves, our radios, and we could, you know, easily get it from our event live, etc. So we don't need to support financially. But I think we have to move away from that so that we now have more ambassadors at the level of the Marshall, Bunji, Kess, etc., who could take soca to a different level. So you have a Madison Square Garden concert with Pretty Voice, Nadia Batten, etc., and not just Marshall, Bunji, and Kess and Fian holding the reins. So in a sense, when we invest in so many of our soca artists, we have a larger army of soca artists who are pushing the culture forward. So I think we definitely have to put our money into them so that they can push it forward in a larger group.
That's very interesting that you said that, and I definitely want to explore that more with you. But I do want to ask you one of my most favorite questions that I love to ask my guests, and which is, what is the one thing that you really love about yourself?
I love my ability to honestly make people laugh.
Yeah,
I really love that. I love the fact that there's no greater energy than being on stage or just being in front of somebody and seeing them smile because I made them smile.
yeah.
So I actually love the fact that I'm witty. I don't have to create a joke per se. Just in conversation, I could just come up with something and make them laugh and make things a little lighter during their day. So that's probably the best thing about me. I love.
Well, that is so beautiful, and thank you so much for sharing that with us. You definitely make me smile whenever I scroll my timeline and I see one of your videos.
Great.
I'm always laughing, and of course, waiting for that, burst of laughter that you have. Why don't you tell everybody what you are up to now in quarantine TV world, and
Well, in quarantine TV, right now I still do my work. I am part of the essential service. I'm a health and safety officer. But other than that, I'm looking into different investment. So I'm looking into forex trading. I'm looking into online business, affiliate marketing, etc. I've delved into it before, but I have the time now to put my money into it and basically create more legs for my table. So in the event of me losing money on the end of hosting gigs, etc., I now can make different streams of income more viable at the same time.
Wow, I mean, that's definitely a lot to accomplish. I think a lot of people can look up to you and see that you work hard, and understand that it does take a lot of work. What number wedding are you up to right now? In terms
Probably
of
one. I think 121.
121. Like
Yeah.
whenever I think of that, I think about the scene in the movie For Shutters when
Yeah.
Mad Max writes all his numbers in. But that's like, the happy thing.
Yeah.
All right, so you are contributing to a lot of people's happiness. Would you MC your own wedding?
No, that's not for me to do. I already have somebody earmarked for that. That's not for me to do.
Got it. All right.
Yeah.
Listen, and just for the ladies who want to know, is Keevo single?
No, he's not. He's not. Sorry.
Sorry, guys. Keevo is not single. All right. Well, we'll look out for that. All right. Lucky lady. Thank you so much, Keevo, for joining me.
No
I
problem.
really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. All right.
Bye. So, guys, listen, that was Keevo, funny man from Trinidad, really doing his comedy and putting his mark out there in the world. I mean, fans from all over the world just love Keevo. Up next, I have another funny man who is typically called the clean guy. The clean guy of comedy. So he's actually going to come into the stream in a little while. Let me get him out the way. And how are you guys doing today? How are you guys doing today? I'm trying some new things. You always have to grow when you're doing, media, or when you're doing anything that you're passionate about. So I'm excited because today makes 1 month since I have been, doing my show. His name is Kess Ramsey, and he is a comedian, and he is completely funny. Yeah, listen, Keevo out here doing it. Keevo is such a great guy, and the guy said he's taken, ladies. So stop messaging me. He's taken. For those of you guys who are watching on Facebook, thank you so much. And for those who are watching on Instagram, thank you so much. I am actually going to bring in Kess Ramsey very shortly. And I just wanted to, I'm just looking out for him right now. So let's see. He is coming so soon. Kess, are you having trouble signing in? Okay, let's see. people that are really genuine, right? He's such a genuine person, and it comes out in terms of who he is and what he does. And his videos, if you have not seen Keevo's videos, I'm sure you have, but he is absolutely hilarious. His laugh and his social commentary is really on point. He's not a stupid fella, you know so he's not a stupid fella. He's definitely, someone who shares a lot of good insight and a lot of sense. So I'm just waiting for Kess to come in, guys. Kess lips. If you have my lips, this is Red Cyrene from the Juicy Girl collection. It's in a matte, and so if you love it, message link up. Thank you so much, guys, for sharing the video. Um, I'm waiting for Kess to join the live stream right now. We're waiting. We're waiting. I'm also sharing as well. All right, he is coming on any minute now, guys. So it is Kess Ramsey. All right, guys. So I have Kess. I have Kess Ramsey. He is from Trinidad, and he is, who they call the good guy of comedy. Kess, I'm going to ask you to join me on IG as well too, so we can run the live simultaneously, right? And I am going to bring you in the room as well.
Hey,
how are you?
Hey, I'm great. I'm great. I'm great. Don't mind my kitchen looking a little messy in the background. Let's see if I can turn this.
Yes. Oh, beautiful. Now you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. So we also want to join over on IG. Do you have your phone?
Right. Yeah, no problem.
Okay, beautiful. How are you doing today?
I'm good,
Somebody on live said that Liam is probably keeping him busy. That's probably his son.
Yes.
Keeping him very busy, huh?
Yes, he is.
Guys, we're definitely going to talk more about that. I'm so excited because today is, comedy edition. This is the comedy edition for the Checking In show. And so we're going to talk through the IG, and then so you'll just mute your computer like I'm going to do right now.
All right.
Okay, so we'll only talk to your IG. Okay, so I'm just waiting for you to follow up.
Yeah. Somebody saying about where Casper?
Listen, it was hilarious because they were like, I can't wait, Savannah Grass, and then somebody was like, I don't think it was that Kess.
Wrong Kess.
Equally as exciting, but while we're loading up on our Instagram, if you could just look straight to camera, introduce yourself, tell people who you are.
Hey, my name is Kess Ramsey. I am from Trinidad and Tobago. I love making people laugh, and that's why I started doing comedy. I love attention too, so it kind of satisfies that need a bit. Yeah, I just enjoy people's company. I've always getting in trouble in school for talking too much and being the class clown, and it just kind of came into this now. So I'm just really glad to be here.
I am excited to have you here. I saw a few of your videos the other day. I was over at my cousin's house.
Yeah.
Live like around the corner, social distancing. Come on, guys. But anyway, so the kids were watching a series of your videos, and I was really getting into it. And I was like, this is so interesting that you are able to do this type of comedy. And my girlfriend was like, yeah, I can let the kids watch it and not be concerned because of the content, and they love it. Talk to me a little bit about that.
So, all right. So I grew up in church. And I started doing comedy in churches alone at first, right? Because I noticed that a lot of churches, or let's just say Christian people in general, like a lot of people have this mindset that, Christianity is very boring and it had nothing to do in the church. And to me, it was a bit of a disconnect because me going to church and having fun and I thinking, I'm having an okay life, enjoying myself. And then when I talk to friends in school or work or anything, they're like, all it is laugh, all it is have fun. So I felt a bit of a disconnect between the life that I was living as a Christian and the life that people think Christians live. So I wanted to kind of bridge that gap and show people that Christian people do have fun, that we do enjoy ourselves, that we can laugh at things, so that's why it started. So I always keep a clean stance when it comes to my comedy. If I'm talking to an adult crowd, you would hear me make jokes about probably being married and stuff, because I am married and I have a son and stuff. But generally online, it's a clean version of Kess you'll get.
Right. So, I mean, it definitely sounds like it's something that you wanted to do and where you felt most comfortable. Did you ever think that if you, that it would be more difficult for you because your comedy was so clean?
Yes. Uh, I kind of had to make a space for myself, and people probably thinking, I mean, outside of the church. No, even in the church, some people were, well, other churches, not my church, my personal church. Big up to Pastor Stephen Mendoza. He's a good man of God. But some other churches were like, they were unsure, or they want to see what type of content I'm doing. They want to hear my jokes before I tell it on the stage. And it's like, how as a comedian am I going to sit in our office and tell you my jokes? You know what I mean? It's like you basically have to trust me that I wouldn't say anything bad on your church stage or anything like that. So a lot of pastors were a bit hesitant when they initially heard it. But over the years, because I've been doing stand-up comedy now for a little over 2 years, almost 3 years now. So it's getting to the point where people recognize me as the Christian comedian, as the clean guy, and I can live with that.
A lot of people talk about YouTube as something that maybe you just put up one video and then your video takes off. What's your viral story?
I don't think I've ever gone viral. I think I probably went regional. I could say, yeah. I think around. Yeah, I think around people who love Caribbean culture, my stuff would sit well with them. So even like people who live in the States and people that have some Caribbean heritage, they would connect with what I do. So I get shares on that sense. Recently, I had a video that kind of went viral, got 1 million views. But it really it was about the coronavirus and trying to resist touching your face.
Right.
That was
you got
like
1 million views.
I got 1 million views. I run around the house. It was really exciting because it was a goal of mine to hit 1 million views this year, and I thought it wasn't going to happen because of this whole Corona thing. I thought people.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm really, really thankful that it did happen. Thanks to everybody that shared that video. So sometimes the video that you work real hard on and you plan and you prepare and you write script and all of that, and sometimes a little bit of views, 2-3 people share it, and it's like, wait, like as a creator, you really just have to continue just putting out content. You really don't know what is going to connect with people and make people laugh. You could try as much as you want to make a hit, but even like with singers and writers, you really just have to continue producing and putting out stuff, and something would connect at some point.
That's powerful that you said that, because now in a time of Corona and this pandemic, so many creators are now having to rethink how they feed their families, how they make money, what direction they're going to go in. What are some of the ways in which you're pivoting in a time like this?
Well, I got more into doing the live streams and actually running live streams for people. So my computer that I use for editing my videos and stuff, well, thank God that I have, that I don't need anybody else to do anything for me, that I can do most of the stuff for myself.
Self-sufficient is really where it's at.
Yeah, you have to be able to do everything for yourself, especially in a time like this. So I record everything, I videotape everything, I record my own vocals, I come up with my own script, I do everything on my own to limit having the need for people. And especially if you're doing videos, let me say I shoot a video and I need to send it to somebody to edit.
Yes.
That's a whole other couple of days, sometimes weeks before you get back your content, before you can post it. So being able to handle everything on your own has taught me some skills that I could offer to people now as services. So doing the lives where I can have multiple people up something like this, running a TV show kind of thing, and even video editing. A lot of people actually ask me to edit their videos for them, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, video editing and stuff like that is something you can just send over the net.
I'm excited for you. I'm excited for you on that because it definitely sounds like you're definitely able to pivot in a time like this. When a lot of people.
Don't pivot now.
Well, it's true. Don't pivot now. Right.
Don't pivot now. Yeah. You have to be able to adapt in times. I can't go on stage now, so we have to make people laugh over the internet, and yeah, that's as much as we can do. So we have to find ways to keep engaging with people and getting our content out there.
Definitely. And I appreciate you even giving that gem to people. I hope you guys caught that gem in terms of being able to do more things on your own and for yourself.
Yeah.
When it comes to comedy, is this, what is your idea of success in this particular forum?
I would love to have a Caribbean tour around the islands. I actually spoke with Keevo about this the last show that we had, right? The last show that we had on the biggest stage that we have in Trinidad right now in Napa. Major Hype came to Trinidad and we had a comedy show with him, right? Keevo was the host. Me and some other local hilarious comedians were on stage. Junior Lee, I see he's on the Instagram live. Junior Lee, Kevin Sawyer, Gabriel Bridgemahan, myself, and Keevo opened for Major Hype on that night, right? And me and Keevo were sitting backstage and was like, yo, this should be across the Caribbean. This should be a Caribbean thing, like our
Kings of Comedy.
Yeah, it should be a tour. Right. It should be, because at the end of the day, Trinidad is only as big as Trinidad is, right? Even if you could do the same show for probably a month, 2 months, and get different people, but the majority of people that would be there would be repeat attendance, right? So to really, the goal would be to get to a point where a comedian could come along and use, like we could work out an hour-long set and a 45 minutes, half an hour set, and go through the islands, tell our jokes, and next year we work out some more jokes and we do it all over again. That's the plan, or that's where we want to get to as comedians, because comedians in the States, right? Or Europe or Canada, the place is so big. You have so many people. You could go state to state telling the same jokes for a year, sometimes more, and you're meeting new people. As a comic, it's in Trinidad, it's really difficult because we have to always keep writing, because you never know if the same people are gonna be in your show. So it's very limiting, because a joke only gets better with time. And a lot of comedians would tell you that when you tell a joke for the first time, you think it's funny and you might probably get a few laughs. But after you tell it a few times, then you really figure out how to say this, what's the best way to say something, right. and really work the joke out. Like that's what comics do, right? They work out a joke. So when you really work out a joke, it takes some time. And when we always writing new stuff, and so we try a new joke. It's not that the joke was bad, but we probably didn't deliver it in the best way it could have been delivered, and we didn't get a good response. We scrap it instead of working it out, because we do have the amount of people to really try out stuff on. So that is one of the challenges that we have. But the goal is to go all over the Caribbean, all over the world, telling our jokes. That's the goal.
In terms of just being able to break out, you mentioned earlier that you wanted to reach to 1 million views, and you got it. Now,
Yeah.
in this moment where you have achieved that, what next would you like to achieve?
Oh, well, the plan for this year before Corona took over was to have double shows. They already had dates and all of that set up, and but I
Wow.
think I'll have to cancel that until next year for sure.
Okay.
But the goal was to have 2 shows, one in Port of Spain and one in San Fernando. Last year I had that would be my second show. Would have been my second show in Sapa, so that's the performing arts in South Trinidad. And we sold out Sapa last year. Christians Can Laugh, that's the name of my show, right?
Christians Can Laugh. Got it.
Christians Can Laugh. So it really touched me to see that Christian people actually came out, and it wasn't just Christian people, people who are looking for comedy that don't have any upscene. Sometimes you just want to come and laugh without having to hear the cursing and the rude jokes. A lot of comedy is just talking about sex and I just, in my shows we stay away from topics like that, and yeah, it's a place where you can come and you can laugh and not feel guilty after for the Christian people.
Right. You can laugh and have a good laugh and not feel guilty after. I get it.
Yes.
What is another thing that you have manifested in your life? Something that you thought about, you wanted, and then you got it, besides the 1 million views.
Well, it would have to be the show, or no? Because as I said, I started comedy 3 years ago, right? At first, I just started doing the videos because I was doing the videos about 5 years now. I'm doing videos, right? So doing the videos, and it's like, my mom actually asked me to try and do the icebreaker for a church meeting, right? And that was the first time I actually sat down and actually tried to write a joke,
Right.
So I sat down, and I think the first joke I wrote was, God is very wise, very, very wise God, because
right.
He made Adam before Eve, right? Because if He made Eve first, it wouldn't have any men. I think that was my first ever joke, right? If He made Eve first, it wouldn't have any men, because to me it seemed, like a lot of women now, of course, with the very independent and thing, it would have been like, God come down, if you need any help, nah, it's okay. It's okay. So I think that was the first joke I ever wrote.
It's pretty. It's still pretty funny because it's cracking you up, but I'm like, it made me say what?
Yeah. Well, it's a church joke. I guess the people understood it at the time, but it's not anything against a woman in any way. It's that it was just very of the time, a lot of women were about independence, and I think a lot of songs were out that year about being an independent woman and whatever. So it was just a bit funny to me that if women were created first, that God would have been like, all right, yeah, just leave the woman alone.
Exactly. Well, listen, I agree. So, thank you so much for joining me. But I definitely have one last question to ask you, and that question is, what is something that you love about yourself?
Something that I love about myself, I would have to say my finger. A lot of people, well, if you ever see me perform on stage, I really talk about this finger a lot, right? So I have 6 fingers on my right hand.
You have 6 fingers?
Yes, I have 6 fingers on my right hand.
Freaky and cool at the same time.
Yeah. A lot of people, some people don't like to shake my hand and stuff. Well, before Corona, some people don't even like to touch them. It looks kind of weird.
Interesting. And you really love that about yourself because it makes you.
I love it. Over the years, I've come to, I laugh about it so much that I come to really like it. I point it out most times on stage. So
right.
Yeah,
well, never known because I don't go around counting people's fingers.
So some people notice it, especially if I point at something and I'm very I use my hands a lot when I'm talking.
Right.
So a lot of people notice it. In a lot of my videos, you'll be in the comments and somebody will be like, all you notice he have an extra finger. It's like that's a very common comment in my videos.
Oh my God. So he's here to say he already knows he has it. He knows he has the extra finger. But listen, thank you so much. Is there anything that you're doing right now for quarantine that people should be checking you out, and which platforms?
On Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, even for the people who willing to join on TikTok.
Yes.
Yeah, so YouTube as well. I have the regular lives with the local comedians in Trinidad. We're supposed to have one next week, Wednesday, and Thursday we'll be on Keevo's page doing a live. Right, so just look out for the lives. We plan on doing a kind of quarantine comedy show soon. We don't know how it's working out yet, but we're trying to get that sorted out. Because of course we're trying to get some revenue back somehow as well. So we're trying to figure out how we're gonna do it. And yeah, I think that's all we have planned for right now. As the quarantine passes and all of that, we'd work on some new stuff. But I always have videos coming out. You could always check my Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and you'll get my parodies. I love making parodies. And I hope you guys subscribe and like my stuff. Right?
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Well, listen, before I let you go, I just want you to look straight to camera and give me a hi. It's Kess Ramsey, and JLova just checked in.
Hi everybody, it's Kess Ramsey, and I just checked in with JLove.
Yay! All right, thank you so much, Kess. I'll talk to you later.
No problem. Thanks again for having me.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, guys, listen, what an incredible show. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone who joined on Instagram and on Facebook. Guys, JLova Checking In. This was, entertainment, business. This was comedy edition. All right. So we checked in with Kess Ramsey. We checked in with Keevo. Guys, have a great day. Remember, tonight at 10 p.m., we are checking in for story time. I got a story to tell. It's going to be so juicy. It's going to be so juicy. All right. Bye, guys. It's going to be